Former Virginia Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax is dead. Fairfax County Police confirming he died in a murder-suicide at his home in Annandale. These are live pictures of the scene from Chopper 4. News 4 was on the scene overnight after someone inside the home called 911. Fairfax was once a rising star among Democrats. He was poised to become Virginia's next governor until two women accused him of sexual assault. He denied the accusations and was never charged. We are working for you this morning with live team coverage. Northern Virginia Bureau Chief Julie Carey is speaking to people who knew Fairfax best, but we begin with News 4's Megan McGrath and the investigation. Megan, what have police told you?
Well, just a terrible situation here. And if you look behind me, you can see the police are still here on the scene. Just about an hour ago or so, the bodies were removed from the home. Now, former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax and his wife Serena shared this home in Annandale with their two teenage children. But according to court documents and police, the marriage was falling apart. Last night, things came to a head when Justin Fairfax shot and killed his wife and then turned the gun on himself. The couple's two children were home when it happened. It was their son that made the 911 call. Police came to the home on Guinevere Drive following a 911 call from a child inside the house. He told the dispatcher that he thought his father may have stabbed his mother and that she was bleeding, and he did not know where his father was. As the investigation unfolded, police quickly realized that the couple involved was former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax and his wife, Serena, and that the weapon involved was a gun, not a knife.
I'm here to confirm the identity of our shooter in this murder-suicide that happened several hours ago as former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax. Former Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax shot and killed his wife inside of their home and then shot and killed himself.
Justin Fairfax served as Lieutenant Governor of Virginia from 2018 to 2022. He and his wife Serena have two children together. They are now teenagers. It was their son that called 911 at around midnight. According to court records, the Fairfaxes were in the process of getting a divorce.
Former Lieutenant Governor Fairfax was recently served some paperwork associated with an upcoming court proceeding that apparently led to this incident last night. Both of their children, teenagers, the boys older than the girl, were in the house when it happened. So that's horrible news for the family. Certainly a traumatic event for those children to live through.
Asked if the police had been called to the house for any previous domestic calls, Police Chief Kevin Davis recounted an incident that happened back in January.
Mr. Fairfax calls the police and alleges that his wife assaulted him. We responded to that scene. There are several cameras set up inside the house. Apparently, Mrs. Fairfax, at some point during these divorce proceedings, set up a lot of cameras inside the home. We reviewed those cameras and we corroborated that the alleged assault never occurred.
And again, the Fairfax's two teenage children were inside the home at the time that this happened. They were not physically hurt, but certainly traumatized by what transpired here. And again, it was the son who made that 911 call. Now, Justin Fairfax at one point was a rising star in the Democratic Party here in Virginia, and then things began to unravel for him. So, Julie Carey, we're going to turn to you for that part of the story.
Yeah, Megan, I covered Justin Fairfax for years. In fact, even doing an interview with him once right on this block. And like Megan said, when he was elected Lieutenant Governor in 2007, he was viewed as a young, new star in the Democratic Party in Virginia. He became just the second African-American to be elected statewide office in Virginia. And even then, he clearly had his sights set on the next step on becoming governor. But his political ambitions were derailed in 2009 when first one woman, then another came forward accusing the lieutenant governor of sexually assaulting them some 2 decades before that when he was a young man. Now, Fairfax adamantly denied the allegations, calling those interactions consensual. Fellow lawmakers, including some high-profile Democrats at the time, called for him to step down. But Fairfax refused, and he continued to make the case he had been falsely accused. He was never charged in that case, but the allegations, they doomed his political future. He did try to run for governor. He was in the Democratic primary in 2013, but he finished a distant fourth to Terry McAuliffe, who went on to win that election. Fairfax then came back to this community and returned to practicing law after that. I've spoken and texted with several of his friends today. They are understandably shocked by this murder-suicide. Several of them have issued statements. I'm going to tell you about a few of those. This comes from former Governor Ralph Northam, who served alongside Fairfax when he was lieutenant governor. He writes, "Pam and I are devastated by this heartbreaking news. I had the privilege of getting to know the Fairfaxes while our families served together. We're praying for the entire Fairfax family during this incredibly difficult time." And from Democratic House Speaker Don Scott, "I'm heartbroken by the deeply disturbing reports emerging this morning. This is an unspeakable tragedy, and our hearts are with the family, especially the children and loved ones whose lives have been forever changed by this devastating loss. There are moments when words fall short, and this is one of them. All we can do is pray, hold our loved ones closer, and grieve alongside those who are hurting today." And we've also just in the past half hour heard from a childhood friend, Kenyon McDuffie, a former D.C. council member. He grew up alongside Justin Fairfax when Fairfax's family was in Washington, D.C. He writes, "I'm heartbroken beyond words. The bond between our families is one I've always carried with me, and today that bond is breaking under the weight of an unthinkable loss." And of course, all these condolences recognizing the loss of Justin Fairfax's wife, Serena, who was a well-known dentist in the community. We're also hearing from Senators Warner and Cade, who issued a joint statement expressing some of the same sentiments that you're hearing in these other statements, with, particular concern for these children who now have lost their parents. So certainly, Juliana, a shockwave that extends all across the Commonwealth, both to political leaders and to the many people who knew and supported Justin Fairfax over the years. Back to you now in the studio.